I'm the Advocate, and this is my ongoing series to cover all the UK Magazine's PlayStation demo discs. Last time, I went over every disc from 55 to 73. So this time, we'll continue from disc 74, all the way up to disc 91. We've reached the yellow spine era of the discs, so expect a lot of repeat demos. So here's disc 74, released in August 2001. The demos include Ace Combat 3, Feel Those Virtual G-Forces, Formula 1 2001, It's the Wheel Thing, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX Maximum Remix, a re-release of a recently released game with extra stuff added, Siphon Filter, ripping off both James Bond and Tomb Raider and not quite getting either, Tomb Raider, Speak of the Devil, Ape Escape, have you ever tried to catch a monkey with a net? In Cold Blood, yeah, quite a few games were copying James Bond. Driver, I'd hate to take a vacation in that city. There's also previews for Power Diggers, The Italian Job, and World's Scariest Police Chases. Next, we'll find disc 75, released in September 2001. For the demos, we have Sheepdog and Wolf. I guess Ralph hasn't gotten Sam's hint yet. The Italian Job, based on the classic British car heist movie. Everybody's Golf 2. Par, Bogey, Birdie, Golf Things. Colin McRae Rally 2.0. Throw your car's arse around a gravel trail. Tintin Destination Adventure, more like Destination Boredom. Crash Bandicoot 3, at least Crash isn't attempting to become his own grandfather or something. Worms Armageddon, the holy hand grenade is meant for rabbits, not worms. For the previews, there's Disney's Atlantis, X-Men Mutant Academy 2, and Evil Dead. We also have a tips video for World's Scariest Police Chases, as well as the Goal of the Month series. Hark! It's disc 76, released in October 2001. Taking a look at the demos, there's Gran Turismo 2, the only game that can make a Honda Accord look good. Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, the only game that can make mountain bikes look good. Quake 2, somebody that did software didn't like all the Eldritch stuff that the first game had. Spyro 3, the purple pyro prances and pulverizes. World's Scariest Police Chases. The officers have now turned left onto Polygonal Promenade. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Jr., just in case you thought the original game was a wee bit too hard. Crash Bash, don't try completing this one. Seriously, don't. We've got previews for Worms World Party and Jungle Book Groove Party. There's also another Goal of the Month, as well as more downloadable saves. Moving on to disc 77, released in November 2001. The demos include Disney's Atlantis, featuring Thalassophobia, X-Men Mutant Academy 2, a mediocre sequel to an already mediocre game. Spider-Man 2, in which Spider-Man finally gets off the rooftops. Tekken 3, in this game knuckle crunches are your currency and black eyes are how you show affection. Cool Borders 2, I don't know, it's kinda funny how seriously they take themselves. Wipeout 3, they'll never get the dents out of those walls. Aladdin in A Series of Revenge, Jaffa Cake's sister is pissed. FIFA 2000, nobody wanted to watch my fantasy tourney. There's also a bunch of Net Eurosa games, including Adventure Game, Blocks, Opera of Destruction, Pandora's Box, Psst, Rocks and Gems, Snowball Fight, Super Bob Contest, Surf Game, Technical Demo, and Rosie Rally. The preview is for Siphon Filter 3. And lastly, there's the goal of the month, and more downloadable saves. Now it's time for Disc 78, released in December 2001. As for the demos, we have Hugo Black Diamond Fever, friggin' ugh. Lucky Luke Western Fever, even more ugh. Colony Wars Red Sun, embark on thrilling space adventures. Tomb Raider 3, she could probably tear you in half like a phone book. Siphon Filter 2, it's a train in a video game, you know it's gonna get derailed at some point. Tony Hawk's Skateboarding, the golden age of skateboarding games. Point Blank 2, wacky minigames for the wacky light gun enthusiast. Actua Golf 2, wood. For the previews we have the Monsters Inc. movie trailer, and Men in Black Crashdown. And of course, goal of the month, and downloadable saves. Let's examine Disc 79, released on Christmas 2001. It has the following demos. David Beckham Soccer. Of all the football games, this one's one of the weakest. Worms World Party. It's just Worms Armageddon again. Party Time with Winnie the Pooh. Give this to a kid who can never seem to win at Mario Party. Music 2000. Still great for making compositions that sound like they came straight out of the Millennium Club scene. NBA Basketball 2000. Could still rival today's basketball games. V-Rally 2. Even in its polygonal form, Corsica looks great. The Net Eurosa game is Mahjong, completely free and probably better than the costly versions online. The previews are for Party Time with Winnie the Pooh and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. We've also got Goal of the Month and the downloadable saves. We've made it to Disc 80, released in January 2002. The demos on here are The Italian Job, with a whole new level to try out. FIFA Football 2002, way, lad culture. Gunfighter, The Legend of Jesse James, Time Crisis with a Wild West TC. Toy Story 2, Buzz discovers a strange device in Andy's mum's room. Crash Team Racing, some people prefer this to Mario Kart. Dead or Alive, boing. Parappa the Rapper. Do you remember the article about that guy who dressed up as Parappa for his wedding? Bomberman World. Easy to get addicted to this one. The previews include Siphon Filter 3 and the Monsters Inc. trailer again. Can't forget about Goal of the Month and those downloadable saves. Next is Disc 81, released in February 2002. These demos include Creatures, a sort of interactive digital pets that can go on adventures. Monsters Inc. Scare Island. The Monsters University movie kinda calls this game's canon into question. Rayman 2. Feels like a kid's game after the challenge of Rayman 1. Roll Cage. Psygnosis knew how to put out quality racing games. Vib Ribbon, a platformer created using your music CDs. Destruction Derby Raw, makes me want to play Destruction Derby 2 instead. Cool Borders 4, you'd think they would have waited for the PS2 before getting to the fourth entry. The Net Eurosa game is for Super Bob Contest, an excellent full free competitive puzzle game. We've also got a Tony Hawk's Tips video, and the start of the Run of the Month series. And of course, Goal of the Month. Now it's time for Disc 82, released in March 2002. As for the demos, we have C12 Final Resistance, a post-apocalypse or London during labour riots. Time Crisis Project Titan, a Time Crisis game made specifically for the console. Sky Sports Football Quiz. Imagine going to a sports bar for trivia night and they put this on. Metal Gear Solid. If you don't have this one in your collection, I shall be sorely disappointed. Pong. The 70s called, they want to know how can they put 3D in their Pong. Broken Sword 2. George activates a Mayan curse by putting a totem in his pocket. 40 Winks. The name is ironic because you could easily pull a sleepless night playing it. There are also 3 Net Eurosa games, which are Rocks and Gems, Robot Run, and Erosians. We've also got another Tony Hawk's Tips video, another Run of the Month, another Goal of the Month, and more downloadable saves. We are now on Disc 83, released in April 2002. The demos on this disc are Muppet Race Mania, which barely made a dent in the Mario Kart competition. Alfred Chicken. At least Mort the Chicken was funny in how bad it was, this one's just plain bad. Star Trek Invasion. For a PS1 space game, it ain't bad. Metal Gear Solid Special Missions. A massive standalone expansion pack for the best game on the console. Rayman Rush. Well, it's certainly more original than just putting him in a cart. Alone in the Dark, the new nightmare. It wanted to take the survival horror crown back from Resident Evil. Mr. Driller. How far down can you drill before the walls cave in on you? Roll Cage Stage 2. Like a roller coaster without any of the G-forces. We've got some Net Eurosa games too, which are Total Soccer, Haunted Maze, and Sphere. There's also Run of the Month, Goal of the Month, and downloadable saves. What a racing binge with Disc 84, released in May 2002. These demos include Pink Panther Pinkdelic Pursuit, a platforming game that's not really going to turn heads. Peter Pan Adventures in Neverland, another platforming game that's not going to make headlines. Driver, which is not a platforming game and it did turn heads. Micro Machines V3, very addicting if you can play it with others. The Italian Job, it's Driver but in London and Turin. World's Scariest Police Chases, it's Driver but you're the cops. Rayman Rush, oh okay, it's both a platformer and a racer. There's more Net Eurosa games which are for Shroud, A Dog Tale, and Sam the Boulder Man. There's also a preview for Metal Slug X, Run of the Month, Goal of the Month, and those lovely downloadable saves. Loading up Disc 85, released in June 2002. We got some more demos, which are for Formula 1 2001. Still very impressed the PS1 can do graphics that good. Hogs of War, anyone fancy some bacon? Jonah Lomu Rugby, gets stuck into a virtual scrimmage. Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, I want to see someone try to make a Tony Hawk's Ride game out of this. Siphon Filter 2, that train still hasn't reached its destination. Spider-Man, in which Peter Parker discovers he may suffer from vertigo. 3 more Net Eurosa games, including Adventure Game, Down, and Opera of Destruction. We've got previews for Delta Force, and for the Stuart Little 2 movie. Plus the continuation of Run of the Month, Goal of the Month, and the downloadable saves. Disc 86 is here to give you a bruise, as it's the Fighting Special, released in July 2002. These demos are Ace Combat 3, did I leave my drink on the wing again? Dead or Alive, it's not the fighting way all the Gamer Boys are playing this. The Hoobs, Jim Henson did more than just the Muppets. Cooler World, one of the most interesting 3D puzzle games on the console. Bloody Roar 2, it's not the fighting way all the furries are playing this. Sky Sports Football Quiz Season 2. Yes, we have not one, but 2 football trivia games on the console, and they're both identical. Tekken 3. If there's fighting to be done, Tekken 3 is guaranteed to be included. Tenchu 2. create your own classic ninja missions. WWF SmackDown. You know, I think The Rock looks good in pixelation. Jedi Power Battles. Cue the meme.
Hello there.
More Net Eurosa games, which are Gravitation, Robot Run, Rocks and Gems, and Total Soccer. And lastly, there's Run of the Month. Now we're playing Disc 87, released in August 2002. The demos on this one include the amazing Virtual Sea Monkeys. Don't be fooled, it's not a virtual pet game, it's a mediocre puzzle game. Formula 1 Arcade. Somebody dropped a bit of Mario Kart in the Formula 1 simulation. Toka World Touring Cars, for when you thought the first two Toka games were a bit too British. Gran Turismo 2. Somebody asked the devs how many licensed cars they had acquired and they said yes. C12 Final Resistance. Despite all the horrible monsters, tourism hasn't suffered much. Pipe Mania 3D. When I was told there was a game about laying pipe, I was expecting something else. The Jungle Book Groove Party. I guess someone thought the Jungle Book needed even more music. Stuart Little 2, the poor man's version of Toy Story 2. Another batch of Net Eurosa games. These are Pushy 2, Clone, and Between the Eyes. We've got a couple of previews, which are for Stuart Little 2 and Firebugs. Lastly, there's some more downloadable saves. Let's take a gander at Disc 88, released in September 2002. The demos you'll find on here are The Italian Job. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Sheepdog and Wolf, or as I like to call it, Sheep Poacher 2001. Monsters Inc. Scare Island, a fun game for children, all about scaring children. Crash Bandicoot 3, in which Crash goes back to medieval times and tells everyone about the wonders of plumbing. Spyro 3, in which Spyro becomes addicted to the Tony Hawk games. Quake 2, nothing more satisfying than a shotgun that can turn enemies into chunks. Bust the Groove, Disco Stew approves. Theme Hospital, this game answers the question, how can you deal with someone who has a big head? B-Movie, somebody get the team from Mystery Science Theater 3000 in for this one. More Net Eurosa games, which are INVS, Mahjong, and Terra Incognita. There's also a preview for WRC Arcade, and Run of the Month. Almost there with Disc 89, released in October 2002. These demos are for Firebugs, which could be considered an official-unofficial sequel to Roll Cage Stage 2. Spider-Man 2, in which Spider-Man visits the Matrix. Disney's Atlantis, Milo goes spelunking. Legend of Dragoon, for when you need more Final Fantasy on your PS1. Silent Bomber, James Bond if he could summon explosions using his watch. Gunfighter, The Legend of Jesse James. These pixels ain't big enough for the two of us, partner. Colin McRae Rally 2.0, really set the precedence for future rally games. Command & Conquer, really set the precedence for future strategy games. Music 2000, will make your kid believe he's a popular DJ. The Net Eurosa games on here are for Bouncer 2, Snowball Fight, and Blitter Boy. There's also a preview for Lilo and Stitch, and the Run of the Month. It's now time for Disc 90, released in November 2002. The demos included here are Lilo and Stitch, Troll in Paradise, for those who thought that Crash Bandicoot was as hard as Dark Souls. Firebugs, race your car on the walls and ceiling if you're good at it. Monsters Inc. Scare Island, they might need to rewrite the story after Monsters University. ISS Pro Evolution 2, holy crap, finally another football demo, and it's a repeat too. Something must be wrong. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Tony pulls off some sick kickflips in France. Everybody's Golf 2, wacky characters, regular golf courses. Crash Team Racing, in which Crash discovers to his detriment that you can't shut off an engine by pulling out the spark plug. Bugs and Taz Time Busters, Suffering Succotash. No, wait, no, that's somebody else. Tomb Raider 4, Laura Does Her Taxes. We got previews, which are for Disney's Treasure Planet and Dancing Stage Euromix Party. We've also got more downloadable saves. This is Disc 91, released in December 2002. We've got new demos, which are Disney's Treasure Planet, which actually did better than the movie it was based on. Dancing Stage Party Edition. I sure hope we don't see this one repeated a dozen times. WRC Arcade. Not really gonna impress rally enthusiasts. Pink Panther Pinkadelic Pursuit. This sucks. 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 This really sucks. Populous the Beginning. As a shaman, shape the world as you see fit. Hogs of War. Some people don't like talking about the horrors of the porcine conflict of 2000. Devil Dice. Roll around huge dice blocks like you're a circus performer who's really into dominoes. Crash Bash. If you thought the Crash Bandicoot series was hard. Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX Maximum Remix. Hope you like skin grafts and bruised arms. Die Hard Trilogy. Terrorists take over an airport. Yeah, they could never release something like that nowadays. As for the Net Yosa games, they are Rocks and Jams, Super Bub Contest, and Surf Game. Preview is for Klonoa Beach Volleyball. That's all of the discs for this video. That was a lot of repeat demos. Can you tell I'm running out of amusing gags for each one? No matter, there's still the last few discs left to do, so watch out for that video coming soon. Take a look at my UK magazine playlist if you want to see much more in-depth looks at each disc you saw here today. There's also my quick fire playlist, where you can find the previous parts where I cover earlier demo discs. You can support me by subscribing, leaving a like, a comment, or if you're extra cool, joining the membership or leaving a super thanks. I make these videos for those who are nostalgic for the days of the classic PlayStation, so I hope that includes you. We got a Discord you can join if you want to chat with others just like you. You'll find an invite link in the description. I'm the Advocate, and we are almost there.